women's sports breaking new revenue records, Sabrina vs. Steph in the three-point contest, women headlining massive UFC pay-per-views, and for the first time ever, the women's NCAA finals had more viewers than the men's. There's no doubt we're in the middle of a visibility boom for women's sports, and it all leads to one question: could women ever truly compete with men in professional sports? And are there any sports where they're actually better? As a fan, I love the idea of women and men competing. So I did a little research, and what I found shocked me. Okay, let's just get the obvious question out of the way. If you put the top female athletes against the top male athletes in today's popular sports, what happens? The short answer is, it's a blowout. And the reason is biology. Men are overall larger, they have larger hearts, larger lungs, denser bones, and less body fat. A 1993 study found that when it comes to strength, women on average have 52% of the upper body strength and 66% of the lower body strength of men. This is the power gap. In contact sports like football, rugby, or basketball, where the entire game is based on size, strength, and explosive power, this advantage is too much. But what about sports that are more about grace and technique, like gymnastics or figure skating? Even there, the strength advantage is the deciding factor. This is why male gymnasts compete with more events, and why male skaters were the first to land this.
Yes, we are!
More power allows for more difficult maneuvers. Then there's a speed gap. The men's 100-meter world record is 9.58 seconds. The women's record is 10.49 seconds. That 9.5% difference is a lifetime in sprinting. This holds true for distance running too. Men's physiology with higher red blood cell counts linked to testosterone, 12% to be exact, gives them a massive advantage in oxygen delivery. So, case closed? Not exactly, and this is where it gets interesting. The reason men dominate conventional sports is because those sports are designed to run explosive, short bursts of power. But what if the competition wasn't a sprint but a marathon, and a real marathon? This is where we find the female advantage. It comes down to two key areas: endurance and precision. So women tend to have a greater proportion of slow twitch muscle fibers. These are less powerful, but they're incredibly resistant to fatigue. And men, on the other hand, have more fast twitch fibers, which is really good for a knockout punch or a 40-yard dash, but they burn out quickly. Metabolically, women are masters of energy management. They're better than men at pacing. They're better at burning fat for fuel during exercise, which is a more sustainable energy source than carbohydrates. This is what helps an athlete delay hitting the wall, which is that moment of total exhaustion. And yet men still win marathons. Yes, but that's because a standard 26-mile marathon isn't long enough for women's advantages to kick in. But what about an ultra marathon? If we look at the percent difference between male and female running pace, men take over a 5K by 18%. Marathon, they win 30 miles, 50 miles, 60 miles, they start closing the gap, 100 miles, and finally at 195 miles, women finally start winning. It's the ultimate tortoise and hare story. In ultra-distance swimming, we see a familiar phenomenon. At 5, 10, and 25 kilometers, men have the advantage. However, in the English Channel, men seem faster, and the Catalina Channel, women seem faster, despite it being the same length. So I'm going to assume that this length, men and women can compete equally. In the Manhattan Marathon, which is 46 kilometers, women clearly take the cake. The theory is that these open races are colder, and women's naturally higher body fat percentage provides better insulation and buoyancy to succeed. This is on top of the advantages we discussed earlier. The second female advantage is in precision. In sports that remove raw strength and instead reward fine motor control and stability, like shooting, women may actually be the winners here. Even though women are vastly underrepresented in shooting sports and hunting, there's compelling reason to believe that they could excel. Studies suggest that women tend to have better fine motor control, a lower center of gravity that improves stability, and generally they're more risk averse, especially under pressure, where men are actually more prone to choking. So men dominate in most sports, but in a few niche spots women can excel. Is there a sport where they can compete on a truly level playing field? Yes, any sport involving a horse. In show jumping, horse racing, and even polo, men and women compete against each other all the time. The reason is simple: the horse provides the horsepower. It neutralizes any advantages that the different sexes have over each other. So where does this leave us? In the popular sports that we watch every day, men have a clear advantage. But this doesn't make women's sports any less entertaining or important, and the rise of visibility in recent times proves that. But the data shows that the story doesn't just end there. For ultra endurance and fine motor precision, women have their own biological edge. And this makes you wonder. The issue might not be that women can't compete. It might be that the most popular sports were designed by men around male strength. Since women's performance advantages compound with duration, yet our most watched formats prioritize short explosive plays, this means audiences rarely see the part of the curve where women pull even or ahead. Although I do have a solution for this. Just give women a head start. Honestly, seeing women and men compete in a sprint in the Olympics would be extremely exciting, especially if women have a head start and men try to catch up to them. In conclusion, the real question isn't can women compete with men, it's are we creating the right competitions? And what do you think? Are there other sports where women might have a hidden advantage? Thanks for watching.